I think that's it, definitely.
Yes, possibly.
That's exactly it.
So, new issue of Tripwire, and it's on Kickstarter, and as I said earlier, it's hit its target. So what was the target this time, Joel? Sorry,
the target was lower than last time. We've made it 1,500 quid because we thought we'd be a little bit more conservative this time. But we're having a few extra people have already chipped in. We've got some really cool goals that we'll talk about when it's appropriate to do so later in the show.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really interested in all of that. And you've very kindly sent me some sneak previews of the magazine, and it looks really, really cool. There's some really interesting articles. So I thought we'd have a little bit of a preview on the show. Let's see if I can bring this up.
Brilliant. Yeah,
there we go.
So it's a Liam Sharp and Alan Moore picture. These are my photos. This is one of the features is photos that I've taken of comic creators and people connected to comics. So there's some film and TV people in there as well. But Alan Moore, that was taken at Gosh a number of years ago. And Liam was taken at Portsmouth in, I think it was May of 2019, which feels like a long time ago now, which isn't that long, but it feels like a long time.
Was this... Where did you say it was that you took the photo of Liam?
Oh, that was at Portsmouth. That was in the pub.
Portsmouth. Right.
The Portsmouth Guildhall, but we kind of decamped to the pub because we didn't get a huge amount of people at the panel, so we decided to leave and go to the pub, which was kind of fun. This was on the Sunday afternoon, I think. I know it's a slightly unconventional way to conduct a panel, but it seemed to work.
Oh, pubs are great environments sometimes. If you get, if it's the right sort of pub and it's not too rowdy.
Yeah, no, it was upstairs. It had these amazing kind of wood walls, and as you can see, and he does take interesting pictures. So it was a really fun afternoon, actually.
Oh, great. I mean, Portsmouth. I wanted to ask you about that because you were obviously involved with that festival for quite a while. I think it was 2, maybe 3 years. Was it that you were involved?
It was 2 years. Yes.
You started another event now in Bristol, that's right, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct. Back at the old hotel for people above a certain age. If they remember, it was back at the old hotel near Temple Mead, they've done a lot of work to the hotel. It looks kind of nicer and more modern than it do, and we're going back and we'll be back to Bristol this coming September.
Bristol has a great heritage for
it really does.
Yeah, I mean, I used to love all of those old Bristol cons when Kev was doing them and then Mike was doing them. I used to go to all of those.
They were great events.
Mm-hmm. They really were. So that'd be nice. That'd be nice to have an event at that venue again. So I mean, I will try and go. It is very close to ice, as you know. So
I hope you can make it down. It'll be nice to see you there, obviously. So
yeah, and I love Bristol. I love any excuse.
It's a great
to visit.
city. Actually, it is a great city, to be honest.
Yeah. Obviously, Andy, we're talking about Bristol. You've probably never been to Bristol.
I've never actually been to that part of the world in general. So perhaps
hopefully at some point you'll get over. I hope you do make it over here.
Yeah, I absolutely plan to. So.
Yeah, it'd be really great to see you, Andy. Maybe if you could, if you can't make Joel's show, maybe you could come over to ours, and it'd be really good.
Yeah, why not? Or we're thinking about trying to do Thought Bubble next year because the home strip that we're planning to publish it ourselves, and the hope is to get the first of our 2-volume graphic novel thing out hopefully for next year's Thought Bubble. So we're hoping to try and get a table at next November show, hopefully.
Fantastic. And I've got some pages from the latest Holmes here. This is your work, I believe, Andy.
That sure is, yes.
So this is the latest installment, I presume, that you've sent me.
Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah. And you say that there's going to be a collected edition, hopefully next year. Would that be launching at Thought Bubble, do you think, or
hopefully? I mean, the plan is to do sort of 2 80-page sort of graphic novels, and it would reprint the story from last year, The House That Crime Built, the 6-pager, and also this 8-pager Prey, which is running in the latest print mag. Plus a lot of basically, there's going to be a big. These both lead into a big epic story, which is going to be 140 something pages. So these 2 set the scene for the main story, which will be running, I said, in 2 chunks. So sort of the first book will be 80 pages, but there'll be 14 pages of existing strips, and then the second one will be 80 pages, and that'll be brand new. So it's a kind of epic that's broken up into 2 chunks.
You're hearing all this, Andy, right?
Oh, he knows most of this.
Fortunately, I have heard this before. Yes.
That's a lot of pages. I mean, we were just talking offline before about how busy you are at the moment. I would imagine a big chunk of it is this Sherlock Holmes story.
But we are breaking it. The second one will be out till 2023, though, to give Andy the sufficient time to work his magic on it and to make sure it's the same quality of the stuff that people have seen before.
I mean, the work is really high quality. I mean, those backgrounds as well are, a lot of artists, you see that they don't take the time on the backgrounds to set the scene. But for something like this, which is a period piece, you really need to have that sort of immersive quality to the work, don't you?
You do. I really enjoy doing the research. A lot of the projects I've done are very much connected to specific times and places, and a lot of research goes into finding reference and trying to interpret that into something that works on a comics page. And then when you're dealing with different time periods, you can't just take contemporary photos because all the buildings have changed and all the vehicles and all the fashion and everything is different. So you got to get into the historical photography, and it gets a little harder to find things, especially.
And of course, this is an alternate world version of Holmes, so it's an alternate version of the real world. So the church in this story it was bombed during the Second World War, but in our world, the Second War hasn't happened. So Andy had to do a little bit of extra detective work to to create what is a wonderful page. I mean, the splash page with the church looks amazing.
Had a lot of
Andy's
fun
done a
with it.
phenomenal job.
I do really enjoy, like I said, doing the research, finding that reference, and putting that stuff on the page. It's a really enjoyable part of the job for me. Some people hate that, and when I was first starting out, I hated that too. But there's kind of a mental jump that you have to make to, convince yourself that it's necessary, and it's cathartic to get it out and get it on the page. So.
Yeah, it must be pretty satisfying, when you get, especially something that's really detailed with a lot of perspective and a lot of architecture. Once you get that done, it must be quite a satisfying feeling to look at the page and say, "I got through it all."
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, we've been joined.
Sorry, the dog's decided to be loud. She's been quiet all day, and now she's decided to be loud.
Of course, as soon as we start streaming, that's it. Dogs are great, aren't they? Well, hello. What's her name?
Her name is Moxie. She's just 7 months old, so she's still learning.
Oh yeah, you can't expect her to behave, can you? At that age, they're going to be naughty, like kids, aren't they?
Exactly.
So we've got another page there from the Sherlock. Oh, that's lovely. I mean, there's another great example of some great architectural artwork there in the background. And I love the on the bottom left panel there. There's a lovely dry brush effect on the background there. I really like that.
That's kind of a trademark of mine. I try to inject that when and where I can. I think it adds a lot of texture and spontaneity to a scene, especially something like like this, where they've just seen one another, and it's kind of a startling moment.
Yeah, and I love that about comics, how you can express things like you couldn't do that in like a movie or in TV. To express a moment in that way.
Not quite in the same way, no.
No, I really like that. It's really, I love the language of comics. I really do. That's lovely work, Andy. It really is.
Thanks very much.
And I've got some other examples of strips here before we look at the magazine a little bit more. Could you talk us through this one, Joel?
Well, this is Roger Langridge, who's become a regular. I mean, obviously, people are familiar with him from everywhere, from lots of places. Clown, he did the Muppets, he did Snark for Boom. But, the amazing thing about him is he can pack so much into one page. I mean, you look at this, you look at the previous one pager from January, and the man is a master at packing in so much information into such a small space. He's one of the best modern comic artists for what he does. I can't think of anyone else who does it as well as he does. And it's become tradition to have a page of Roger's art in there. And thankfully, he was kind enough to give us a page of his wonderful Fred the Clown stuff. And it looks so nice, physically as well. But it looks really nice on the screen too.
Yeah,
he's
really
a very
nice.
talented artist. He's phenomenal, actually.
Oh yeah, and he has been for, like you say, a long time.
He's always been great.
I remember the first time I met Roger actually was probably at Bristol.
I'm sure, yes.
Yeah, one of the first Bristols, so probably 99.
Yes.
And I remember seeing he had like examples of his work with him at the table, and it's just awesome. And to see him work as well, how he manipulates the pen.
It's fascinating. I've had a couple of sketches of him, and even his rough sketches or something else as well.
Yeah, really top-notch artist. That's lovely. What else have we got here? And thank you for sharing these, by the way.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. And this is Kent Menace. This is my friend Scott Braden. I think it's penciled by Jeff Dillon, inked by a guy called Juan Castro, and coloured by his wife, whose name completely escapes me. So apologies in advance for that. But it's really lovely work. I mean, it was published by American Mythology, by kind of an American indie company. So we've got that. We've also got some prose. One of the prose stories I wrote, they're doing a prose anthology with this character. This guy, he's kind of like a sort of mythical character,
right?
Who sort of fights evil. His name is Kent Menace, and so it's sort of like a short story. So it's the Stripwire section I'm very pleased with. I'm always kind of pleased that I think this is really strong this time. We got some really interesting stuff, and it's a really it's a really good mix as well. I like to think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at all the different styles, it really is a nice mix, but the quality is really high. I mean, you look at something like Andy's, which is very noir, which
yes.
I mean, something that I love personally is that sort of style, and then you get something like this, which it's almost the polar opposite, isn't it? It's really bright.
Well, exactly, but it's nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice bit. You got some nice mix of different strips in there.
Definitely. One more, which I think I know.
Oh, this is Techno Freak. This is the John Charles and Tom. Oh God, I'm really embarrassed. I forgot his surname. He's a very talented artist. It's been a long day.
You have to say that now anyway.
Tom Newell, I think his name is.
Oh, that does sound.
He's a very talented artist. And Techno Freak is a really cool series, and John's a very talented creator. And this has run before, but it was again quite nice to run it in there. And again, just to mix things up a bit and to have a variety. So it's not one kind of strip. And Stripwire is kind of like a palette cleanser at the end of the magazine. So you've had the features, and now you've got strip section at the back, and it's a nice thing to have in there.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's certainly the element that I have a lot of interest in myself, and I think a lot of the readers probably appreciate the effort that you go into, and to profile these sort of lesser known strips as well. I mean, they're not.
Well, we tried to. I mean, years ago we did it. We ran some Declan Shalvey stuff many moons ago, when it wasn't quite as well known, and we run some other. There's a guy called Cody Chamberlain who worked with Josh Fialkov on a strip called Punk. So we ran that years ago. So we've always enjoyed running quirky stuff in the Stripwire section, and it's, as you say, it's a showcase for interesting material.
Definitely. And yeah, thanks for doing that, Joel. It's really cool.
Yeah, of course, we're happy. We want to put a little something back, and obviously some of the stuff is myself and Andy's work and the prose stories. So I have a slight vested interest in this as well, but we do try and showcase other people's stuff too.
That's really cool. So I'm gonna come back to the I'm going to come back into the screen and have a look at something else. So let's have a look. There we go. So there we are. Come back in, so I can see you guys now. When I'm sharing the screen, usually I can't see you guys.
Yes.
I feel lonely. So this is an interesting looking article that I love. Silver Age Marvel. That is probably my favorite. Looking back. The age of comics, it's probably one of my favorite because that's how I discovered comics. It was I wasn't around in the Silver Age, really,
of course,
but I mean, all the comics I discovered as a youngster were all the classics, Kirby and Ditko, and so
of course.
So what's this article covering then? It looks like it's covering the Silver Age.
Well, it's covering Fantastic Four because this year is 60 years of
Right.
Fantastic Four. It launched in
course.
August of 1961, and without it, there would be no Marvel. There'd be no Marvel Age. There'd be no Marvel movies. There'd be no Avengers. There'd be no Captain America. There'd be no Thor.
Yep.
FF, as you know, was the very first modern Marvel book. And it, and this piece looks at the history of the title, how it's developed, and it also touches on things like the FF movies as well. And we're bound to see another one, which hopefully is a little bit closer to the style of the comic. So it's looking at the history of these four, pivotal comic characters. And we've also got interviews with Dan Slott, Walt Simonson, John Byrne, and Brian Bendis talking about their runs on the book and asking why they're still popular 60 years later, because they're, as I said, there'll be no Marvel movies, there'll be no Marvel Age without the Fantastic Four.
Definitely not. I mean, like you say, those other movies weren't so great. I mean, I have a little bit of affection for the first one. I think
fair enough. I know they meant
nice
well. They didn't quite capture. No, I'm hoping that they can get a bit closer, to the comic, because the comic was great because it was all about how science was our friend, and how they come up with these amazing things to help society, and it was a really positive, a really optimistic book, and it was also all about family, about the interesting interplay between Johnny Storm and Reed Richards, and there was great chemistry, and you had a little bit of friction between them, but it was a great book, and some wonderful runs over the years.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, so the guys that you've spoken to as well. I mean, they're some of the best people you could possibly speak to.
Well, exactly. That's why I wanted to talk to the pivotal guys, the guys who did the seminal stuff, relating to these characters.
I mean, that John Byrne run, which
that was amazing. That was an incredible run.
Oh, just absolutely. I mean, he was writing and drawing it. It's just
I know. And there was the Simonson run as well, which I also
Yeah.
thought was amazing. That was also, I mean, he's one of my favorite comic creators. He's a phenomenal talent.
Me too. And it wasn't long enough, that Simonson run, though, I didn't think. Could have gone on for much longer.
Well, yeah, possibly.
So, are you a Fantastic Four fan, Andy? Is that your bag?
Way back, I started. I got into comics as a in grade school, and it was about the time of John Byrne's Fantastic Four, and so that was one of the earliest series that really kind of drew me in. That and Frank Miller's Daredevil. So that was kind of
another amazing series. That's still one of my favorite comics. I came to it a little bit later. I mean, I was a DC reader as a kid, but I read the Daredevil stuff, a little bit later on when it was published. But it's still, Born Again is still a phenomenal, and the rest of Miller's run is also amazing.
Yeah, holds up well.
It does.
It really does.
And it was really sort of the first time in a Marvel comic that you saw that sort of crime noir approach to a superhero.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
I mean, Batman had been doing it. Neil Adams had been doing it in Batman, but I think this was the first time we saw it in a Marvel comic, and it was quite something, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm still a huge Miller fan. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, his work's changed a lot.
Yes.
But he's always said he's a cartoonist. Like, people complain that it's too cartoony, but he is a cartoonist. That's what he does.
Yes, I suppose. No, fair enough.
But yeah, that run and the Born Again run, absolutely phenomenal.
It was amazing.
And I think we can't underestimate what Byrne was doing, going back to Fantastic Four on that run as well. I mean, the stories.
Oh no, I agree.
Were actually quite adult and well developed, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They definitely were.
I mean, they were really character driven. I mean, it was sort of taking what what Stan and Jack and all those other greats sort of developed, and then just taking that one step further.
No, definitely. I agree. It was a phenomenal run. As you say, it was doing stuff that we hadn't seen before in comics, and doing it in an amazing way.
Yeah, very innovative. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I said innovative without messing it up. I'm not going to try and say it again. I always mess that word up.
Okay. All right.
So, okay, let's have a look what else we've got here. See if I can do this without messing up again. So, what's this article here, Joel?
This is the Folio Society, which is a they're publishers of these amazing hardback slipcase books,
Oh,
beautiful editions
yes.
of classic novels,
Mm.
things like Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, Nancy Boys. They
Right.
do modern like a Nancy Boys by Neil Gaiman, The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and these relate to, there's a Planet of the Apes edition in there, and there's also this.
Ooh.
I think there's a Captain America, which reprinted basically a series of Captain America runs, because they also do comic stuff. But their books are really beautifully produced. And so I interviewed two of the art directors and their managing director, I think he is, to talk about the genesis of how they put these books together. You know, they take a book, a classic book, or even a modern classic book, you know, and then they hire an illustrator and they commission. So they go through the process, you know, once they get the rights to the book, they think about who's the most appropriate illustrator, and then they, you know, they commission them, and, you know, they give them a brief, and some of their books, they're just phenomenal.
That's really interesting.
You know, so it's a behind the scenes. It's the kind of art, you know, we try and run articles that no one else covers, and we try and cover stuff in a way that no one else covers. And I think we've achieved. Hopefully, we've done that again with this issue.
Definitely. I mean, that's something I've not really. I mean, I've heard of these folio books, but I didn't realize they were so frequently doing the comics. You know.
Yes, I mean, well, they've done a couple. They also did Cavalier and Clay, illustrated by Chris Samney. You know, Cavalier and Clay is I think it won a Pulitzer Prize, written by Michael Chabon, and Chris Samney, who is a comic artist, illustrated this huge illustrated hardback version. And Dave McKean did I Am Legend, and there's been some comic guys, and there's just some amazing illustrators I admit I'd not been familiar with, that they got in to illustrate some amazing. Like there's a Misery book, illustrated by an illustrator whose name I can't remember, but you know, he's very talented. So there's a lot of great books that they publish.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting as well. Getting different types of illustrators onto it that you wouldn't normally expect. I mean, you say Chris Samney. I mean, I mentioned him a lot on this stream because I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Very talented, and his sense of design is incredible. But
definitely.
Some of these artists, that's really interesting to see different styles and so.
I mean, this guy called Francis Vallejo did Something Wicked. I think it was Francis Vallejo. He's very talented. He's a great illustrator. So they're worth checking out, and it's, you know, it introduces you to books. Like, I'd never read the Planet of the Apes book. Obviously, I've seen the films, but I've always wanted to read the book. And the book is amazing, and the illustrations just really bring it to life.
Fantastic. Oh yeah, that sounds really cool. I'm a massive Planet of the Apes fan, you know. The comics, the movies, the whole thing. Yeah, you know, I just love the whole idea.
No, definitely. And the book is interesting because it's a slightly different take. It is a different, you know, it's a different sort of animal, if you'll pardon the pun, but you know, it really does work, and it is interesting to see where it all started.
Very cool. Very cool. We've had a couple of little comments in, I'll just share them.
Okay.
Little Hero Spark, evening all. I think
Hello.
I know who. I love these. I love the pseudonyms on these profiles, but
yes,
I think I know who that is. From Johnny Hire. Oh, he's responding to Little. Oh, they're having their own little conversation. Yes, they're having their own little conversation in the chat. We'll let them carry on with that, and we'll have another look at. Oops.
Okay.
Get that back. We'll have another look at some more pages.
Okay.
See what else we've got here. Okay, this looks interesting.
Right, so this is interview with Liam Sharp.
Liam.
Did a career interview with him, starting all the way back with you know, Marvel UK, talking about his work for Veritique. Obviously, his more recent work for DC, for things like Brave and the Bold and Batman Reptilian. And we talk a little bit about Starhenge, which is his new series, which he did writing and drawing, which is coming to Image next year, which is going to be very, very cool. I've seen some painted stuff. I mean, I've seen, you know, a lot. He's put a few things out there online, and he's an amazing man. He's so passionate, you know. And he also did the Jack Katz book. You know, he's an incredible figure. I mean, he's had quite a career, and especially the last 2 or 3 years, suddenly, you know, his profile has kind of gone through the roof. But, you know, he's a really fascinating subject.
I like Liam a lot.
He's an amazing guy. He is.
Yeah. I mean, the work he's done here, this new book that he's going to be bringing out, I mean, it's a labour of love from what I can tell.
Oh, it is. Definitely.
Something that he's wanted to do for a very long time.
For quite some time. Yes, exactly.
And his art book, his last art book was a huge success, wasn't it?
It was Encore, yeah. I mean, I chipped into that. I'm looking forward to seeing a copy of that, which I assume I'll be seeing sort of soonish. So that looks amazing as well.
Was he, if I recall, wasn't he the artist on a Vertigo series called Testament with Douglas
Yes,
Rushkoff?
yes, you're right. He was with Douglas
Yes.
Rushkoff.
Rushkoff's one of my favorite authors, and so that was super cool.
Ah, wow.
He's had quite a diverse CV over the years. He's worked on a lot of different books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's had runs on like for Wonder Woman, Green Lantern.
Yes.
Loads of stuff, obviously, for Marvel. You know, I mean, even early on.
He did Man Thing with J.M. DeMatteis for a little while, and he obviously did the Hulk with Peter David. And no, he's had quite a career over just a few decades now. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah, incredible. It looks like Sam is going to join us. I'm going to let him
fantastic.
out.
Exactly. It's always a pleasure to see Sam.
Sam.
Hello. Can you hear me? I haven't had a chance to test my microphone. And
we can hear you. Yes.
How you doing, Sam?
Hey, Sam. You all right?
Hi. Hello, Andy.
You've met Andy before, haven't you, Sam? Were you on the last show, or were you absent last time?
No, I was absent the last show.
Ah, right.
Sorry, family things. What have I missed?
Well, we've been looking at the artwork in Tripwire, including Andy's artwork, which I'll bring up again so you can see it. Here we are. Doing a Sherlock Holmes story. There you go.
Nice.
It's our second Holmes story because the first one ran in the last print mag, which came out in January.
Yes, which we've also had a look at before. So yeah, any excuse just to show this art again.
Of course, Sherlock Holmes is in the public domain, isn't he? So
yes, he is. But Holmes is only on the last page of this story, I'm afraid. But this is it's an action story. It's kind of a chase. But Holmes is in it at the end. He's part of it. So it's introducing the world and kind of fleshing out the concepts from the first short to give people an idea of the world that we're playing with these characters.
That's really
and how many pages are there in each issue of Tripwire?
Well, it's 100 of content. So features and strips.
That's quite a big tome, isn't it?
I mean, it's a pretty hefty package, and it's perfect bound as well, obviously. So, it's a lot of content. There's about 25 to 30 pages of strip, and about 100 and something pages of features.
Wow, that's a lot of work. How long does it take? Does it take you?
There's a lot in there.
I was just thinking, there's a lot of work in there, Joel. So that must be quite a task.
I hope you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can still hear you, mate. No problem.
You did fade out a bit, or was that? Did you?
Have I lost you? Have we lost each other? Hello?
No, I can still hear you, Joel.
Still hear him.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
I'm going to nod because I don't think Joel can hear us. So I'm going to nod.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you. What's happened?
We can hear you.
Technical difficulties. I haven't even touched this.
He's going to say something really inappropriate.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear. Yes.
I can't. I've turned the volume up.
Oh, you
Maybe
can't
I should
hear
try
us.
and leave.
Why am I mouthing? We can hear you. I don't.
The wonders of technology. I'm going to come back in.
If all else fails, reboot.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Well, thank God we've got you here, Andy.
I'm here to save the day. Yes.
Yeah. So
I may have missed the start, but have we discussed about digital compared to printing?
What you mean, the print process on Tripwire? Yes. We haven't actually. No, I mean, I think it is. I think it's digitally printed. Okay. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Joel when he gets back.
No.
Oh, we've got another invader. We've already had a puppy. Andy's puppy has already joined the stream. Have we got an unruly child now, Sam?
Yes, we do.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no, a chocolate in front of there. What are you doing?
I'm just going to take. That's better. It's nice to have the control.
I'll bring live broadcasting.
Yeah, it's all good fun. I'll bring Joel back in. Here we are.
Sorry,
this is Benji, and Benji will say hello.
That's okay.
Sorry, it was a technical glitch.
You gonna say hello?
He forced me to. Evil. He's evil.
Okay, cool.
You're evil, Sam. You're evil.
That's not fair. You're tormenting your children. It's not.
Okay,
It's not right, Sam.
hang on. I'll be back.
That's all right, mate. We have to contend with this sort of thing on live shows.
So what did I miss? What did I miss when I was
Well,
cut off?
basically, you missed Sam getting invaded by his child.
Yes.
And that was about it.
So not a lot then. Okay, well that's good. I have no idea what happened there.
He did ask a question about the printing, actually, whether Tripwire was digital or litho.
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think it's digital. I think we're digital. That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I mean, you can't tell the difference these days, can you?
It's
not
amazing
sure.
quality. It's a lot. You can do a lot now with digital.
Yeah.
Are there
Couldn't
physical
do.
copies of Tripwire? That's
Oh
the
yes,
second question.
they are available on Kickstarter now and on all the other good outlets. So yes, of course.
The best way,
It's great. A physical
I'm
mag.
there.
You
I'm
can't
print
beat
all the
it.
way.
Yeah, I mean, I love the smell of freshly printed
Oh, so do I. It's fantastic.
stuff. Oh, it's just you can't beat it, and
No.
I equally love the smell of old comics as well.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
It's one of the most pleasurable parts of collecting old comics.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
I mean, there's
You agree
nothing
with me,
better
Andy?
than doing
Thank
this.
Sorry, Sam. What was that? Are you going to smell the
sniffer.
comic now?
He's a comic
Yes.
sniffer.
Well, I've always suspected that he was.
He looks like one, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've had another little. Oh, this is Little Hero Spot. I did not realise there was some folio books of comics. We'll need to check them out. I've always wanted a shelf of folio books.
Well, they've only done 2 or 3. They've done a Spider-Man and they've done a Captain America. I think they've done a Marvel 60s one. They haven't done many. They've done about 3 so far, but maybe there are plans to launch more folio editions. I mean, they're basically reprints, so they're basically bound. So you've got like 10 comics reprinted in like a single hardback edition.
Nice. I bet they are expensive though, aren't they? Looking at those.
Yes, well, they are. They are. I mean, actually, I wonder if I think I had one here. Is this? Oh no, this is an actual book. I thought I had them with me. They're around, but they're in one of the other shelves. But so they're very nice books. They're really nicely produced. And the comic stuff is really nice.
And like you say, they're expensive, and I wonder how the sort of incumbent folio fan base feel about comics being produced. I wonder if they've encountered a little bit of snobbery, perhaps from you know what I mean. I've seen that before when I think there was a Spider-Man book. I don't know if it was folio, but there was a Spider-Man.
No, I think there was a folio Spider-Man that did about a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I remember seeing
what is a folio book?
Go on, explain to Sam.
Oh, okay. Folio book is just a very nicely produced hardback book in a slipcase. So a lot of them are classic novels. So things like The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. What else? There's Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury.
Okay.
They did Game of Thrones. They do modern classics as well. These huge Game of Thrones books.
Premium hardcover, then, is it?
Exactly, but they're often in a slipcase, and their price point is obviously higher than a regular hardback. They're really nicely produced.
Yeah.
I mean, on this thread I saw, it was on Facebook, I think, and there were people commenting, it's like, oh, why are they doing Spider-Man? It's that's not proper literature and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, I know.
It's just tiresome.
No, there is
it
a
really
bit of
is.
snobbery, a little bit, but
and it's so ignorant, to
yes,
to just judge a whole artistic medium in that way.
Yes. I know.
I mean, it's not like Spider-Man is a bit obscure, isn't it? It's not like it's a major film out.
Well, I think I think it was the popularity they objected to. You know what I mean?
Probably.
Because it's not edgy enough. It's too popular.
No, exactly.
But it looked beautiful, and it was the collection, I think, of different. Like it's all coming back to me now. Like great stories over the years.
I think so. I think they covered the 3 or 4 decades.
Really nice stuff. So there's one more article that we've got on here.
Okay.
Which I'm going to try and get this. There we go. And I just need to change the screen. There we go. Oh, it's gone to another one. Let's see if I can get it out. I'm not as good as this as Sam.
I mean, I could jump in and take control.
Yeah, all right. So
actually, you got it PowerPoint. That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, it was easy for me to do it on a PowerPoint.
It makes sense.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
The pictures, yeah.
So 40 years of Indiana Jones. That went quick.
Yes, it did. And this is an interview with Drew Struhzen, who's done, loads of the classic indie posters, and he's also done posters for Blade Runner, obviously, and Star Wars and Shawshank Redemption. I mean, in fact, this issue had not one, but actually has 2 interviews with Drew Struzan. There's this one about 40 years of Indiana Jones, and there's one at the back, which we did in 2009, talking about his career, because he started work. He co-illustrated a Star Wars poster with an airbrush artist called Charlie White, and then he moved on to, do stuff himself. But he also did the Back to the Future posters as well, which are amazing. He did the 3, the 3 classic Back to the Future posters, and he talked about how, unfortunately, the idea of a classic movie poster has fallen out of favor. But they're both really interesting chats. This one was done very recently in the last 2 or 3 months, and the other one was done, as I said, 12 years ago. But it's interesting to read the 2 of them.
Interesting.
Oh, those classic movie posters are, they're iconic, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I do like the Back to the Future one, and then Back to the Future 2 when you've got both of them, and then
you've got the third one, which actually has 3 figures. If you look at them, the first poster has got 1. I think it's got 1 figure. The second poster's got 2, and then the third poster's got 3. So he builds it up, and things like his Shawshank Redemption poster is amazing. It's one of my favorite movie posters.
Yeah, totally. I mean, as you alluded to earlier, I mean, the art of the film poster does seem to be dying.
Yes,
I mean, some of the stuff
they put out. Pick a poster up on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Yes, or Netflix, exactly. But it's kind of sad.
So we've got a little bit of time here, so let's go through you guys. I mean, Sam, what's your favorite movie poster?
Oh, favorite movie poster. I mean, there's the. Is it the Bill Sienkiewicz? Did he do a Dune poster?
He might have done. He did the comic for Marvel, the Marvel magazine.
He did, yeah.
I do like the Big Trouble in Little China poster.
That was Drew Struzan, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm gonna find a copy of it now. I'll picture it now, just so.
I mean, a lot of the time, the love we have for the posters is the memories that they conjure, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, mine is probably Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because I just love that poster. It's just so simple, and it's a great design, and it just conjures up memories of that time. It's a really interesting time in movies for
definitely
growing up.
Well, Spielberg's work during that era all had really kind of memorable posters. E.T. as well had a great.
Oh, that E.T. poster was amazing. It was incredible, and obviously the Jaws poster as well. Such a classic. I mean, that original poster is just something else.
Yeah. So, what would you say was your favorite then, Joel?
Oh, it'd be hard to pick. I don't know. I mean, I always had a soft spot for the Alien poster because it's such an amazingly simple image, but it's because when you think about what it represents, you think. I mean, people have said that Alien is, it's a haunted house sci-fi movie basically, which I guess it is. Instead of a haunted house, they're stuck in a spaceship. But the poster is. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I mentioned Shawshank before, but there are so many. I mean, Polanski's Chinatown's got an amazing poster as well, which is also just very simple, but it's such a beautiful, and even some of the Hitchcock posters, like North by Northwest or I mean, God, there's so many classic posters that are just
the Alien
incredible.
Movie poster is very straight, very simple, isn't it? I'm trying to find.
But it really works because it's simple, but you think what's underneath the surface there, and what the egg, what the figure represents. It's just it's an incredible poster.
It's full of potential dread, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's subtlety. It's about subtlety. It's about saying that there's this shape. It's almost like an abstract shape. But what's behind that abstract shape,
I've got
another favourite of mine is Apocalypse Now. I love
that's a great poster. That was Bob Peake. I've got an art book of his somewhere in the flat.
I mean,
and obviously there was the Superman. He did this amazing Superman poster with a cape.
Yeah.
Again, very simple. It's again a very simple, very graphic image. But it works. It just works beautifully.
There we go.
Yeah, that's just such an amazing poster.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's the Italian one, but it
doesn't matter. It's
same design. Yeah. It's
just an amazing image. It's so striking, and it's just so simple. But you just get chills when you look at that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, it's just amazing.
It's just the egg, isn't it? And it's just
It is,
like
yeah.
like I say, the potential dread. I love it.
Exactly. But there are
It
so
could
many
be
classics.
a bit more. Not Mebius. Who did the art design on Alien?
Geiger.
Geiger.
Geiger. Could be a bit
Yeah.
more Geigerish.
Well, perhaps.
Well,
but I think
it's-
it works 'cause
yeah.
it's simple.
Yeah, because Geiger's very, there's a lot of
Ornate
detail,
and
isn't there?
complicated. Exactly. So
Yeah, it's not ideal for movie posters, really.
No.
As beautiful as his work is, as a
Yes.
concept artist, he's amazing, but movie posters, maybe not so much. What about you,
When I
Andy?
When I was
What's
8
your-
years old
Sorry,
in school, I remember
can you
a
hear me?
teacher-
It's just cut me off again. Bollocks.
we can
Oh,
hear you.
We can hear you.
Here we go.
When I was
Can you
8
hear
years
us
old
now?
in school,
Jesus.
I remember a teacher came up and started telling us the story about a film. Oh, he's gone. A
He'll
film
be
that they saw, and it was about an alien, and the alien went on people's faces, and then it burst out their stomachs. And I remember being an 8-year-old, freaked out, and then I saw a picture of the alien egg, and it's the one. So it opened in
with
4
the-
ways at the top.
Yeah.
And then later on that day, I went to, it was like autumn. So there was a horse chestnut tree nearby. And the conkers looked exactly like it was a white conker in it.
Oh,
and it
right,
split
yeah.
apart. And I remember freaking out, going, "Oh my God, there are alien eggs here." That was cool. And the teacher went, "No, that's conkers." And then I think she regretted telling us that story about the.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. I bet there were loads of parents complaining about terrified children.
Yeah, but I remember it vividly, the story.
Oh,
I mean,
love
I
that.
missed it, must have been 8. When did it come
Yeah.
out? It came out like 1980?
1979, I think.
Yeah,
it
I
was.
would have been 9,
Yeah.
10.
Scary. What about you then, Andy?
Good to get kids
What's your favorite movie poster? If we haven't covered it already.
No, I think Joel kind of touched on the Hitchcock ones. I think this Saul Bass designed posters, the super minimal, super designy. Anatomy of a Murder was one of the best. He did a great one for The Shining. Man with the Golden Arm.
Wow, yeah.
In Hitchcock, he did Vertigo and all that kind of stuff as well.
I do
And
like Vertigo. Yeah, that was a good one.
just
Yeah.
magnificent, just pure design. None of this overly glamorous, photography and all that. It's just really that storytelling with that minimal design that really speaks to me.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Sam's done a search.
Yeah, there
But
you go.
yeah,
So,
And the West Side
Shining.
Story, right? That's another
oh
one.
yes, of course, yeah.
That's terrific.
visit Hampton Court. I guess this is all. So is it? I've searched Saul Bass.
Bass's stuff, yeah. I mean, lots of other designers have been influenced by him as well. I mean, he create, this look that he created. It's just so powerful, so distinctive. You can't help, once you've seen it, you can't help but be a little bit influenced, can you?
Oh, Shane, Joel's back.
Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
It's nothing.
No need to
That's it.
apologise.
You're talking about Saul Bass.
We
Yes.
were, yes. That was Andy's
There was an
choice.
exhibition of his at the Design Museum a few years ago in London. He was amazing. There was some amazing stuff. As you say, his posters were incredible.
Yeah. Oh, I'm really sorry I missed that. I would love to have seen that.
Yeah, I searched Saul Bass and I got a lot of fishing stuff.
Yeah.
That's so wrong.
But then you were hooked, weren't you, Sam?
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Joel wins. Well done. 1 point to you.
Excellent. So before we go, we should have a look at the Kickstarter as we talked about before. Sam,
Yes.
would you be able to
Yep.
bring in the Kickstarter on the screen
give me
so
one.
that we can talk about it? Oh, there he goes. So we're going to look at the some of the rewards that you can get. I'm assuming that there's some little extras in there.
Oh, there are. I mean, basically, now that we've funded, if we hit 1750, which is another 160 quid or so, everyone who pledges above £20 will get a rather snazzy digital behind-the-scenes PDF on Sherlock Holmes, the Empire Builders. There'll be my script. There'll be some rather nifty sort of page roughs from Andy. So we're going to put together a really nice PDF. So if people pledge, if people get us up to another 160 quid, I think it is. It's not a lot. Then everyone above £20 will get this rather nifty PDFs. So I think it's a really nice extra stretch goals. So
yeah. Ooh, nice Mignola image.
yes, so that's one. That's our cover, the Hellboy, because it's Dark Horse at 35, and we thought, and we thought it was originally going to be a black cover, but we thought for a change, it's a light color. So we thought we'd use a different color palette, because Hellboy's always in black, and he looks great. Don't get me wrong. I think obviously, others Hellboy covers that they're about something a bit different.
So is this a unique image by Milona for you?
Yeah, unfortunately not. It was done for something else, but he's done so much. He's very prolific, but it is a really nice image.
Yeah, it's lovely. I'm a massive Mignola fan.
Oh, he's very talented, and his composition is always amazing. His covers are always something else.
Yeah.
Should we go through the pledges?
Yes, please.
Yes, Joel, if you want
to. I'm not going to. I spent a lot of money last time I did this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Sam, there's no reason why you can't spend any more money this time. I mean, it's got 2 weeks, so I mean, it's almost payday, and it's all the pledges are gratefully received. So we've got people that can put money in just for their own sake. They can support us. People just throw some cash in, or they can support the digital, so we can get a digital version of the magazine.
So it's £10.
Indeed, or they can get exactly. So they can get a rather nice digitally. I mean, I've designed it so it looks really good on a digital platform. It's nice to have a physical copy, but sometimes people just want something to look at on their tablet or their phone. And then you've got they've got the print mag supporter. So if people want to get the magazine, they can chuck in for that as well.
And the extra that you were talking about on the stretch,
yes,
with the sort of behind the scenes stuff. At what level does that kick in?
Well, it's not because you can't edit the pledges, once they're live. But we've put an update up. We put a post up on our site. But anyone who puts up at the £20 and above, currently, if we get to 17.50, we're currently on I think 15.85. If we get to 17.50, anyone who puts in a 20 quid and above, anyone who's even done it now, or moving forward over the next 14 days, they'll get this digital PDF thrown in as an extra.
Cool.
So they'll get to see my script work. And
£85. When did it go? When did you?
It hit yesterday. It funded yesterday.
I'm really interested in the sort of the behind the scenes bits that from Andy. Actually, that sounds really cool.
But he works in a very unusual way. Actually.
Yeah, we were talking about this a few days ago.
Yes, we were.
My approach when I set up these stories is, and maybe it's kind of unconventional. It's just the way that it's worked out for me, though. Is I print out the script just on letter pages and do all my breakdown thumbnails in the margins. So everything starts out very tiny,
right,
and very gestural and very loose. And then I'll take those, and usually I'll just photograph them with my phone. And once I get them into the Mac, blow them up to full size, and I can keep that kind of spontaneous design and just make it large, so I can build my final art at that size and just start out the final art at that scale. Right. But pencils, I really very little penciling. I kind of get straight to work with ink and reference and such from there.
And you find that gives it a little bit more life, going straight into ink in that way?
Yeah, very much so. And I feel like if I pencil too much, I'm doing it twice, and nobody wants to do that.
That must be a pretty quick way of working then, actually.
Not necessarily.
I suppose if you make a mistake, you've got to start again.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes, but yeah. So we've got some cool other perks. We've got Tripwire t-shirts. We've got some prints of Andy's stuff. There was a full page from the previous strip of Holmes. It's a really lovely page from the previous strip. So people get prints of that. We've got these pastiche things. If you go down on the main thing, we've got these pastiche covers. It was like, what if Tripwire was around to cover, things like Thor 337. So we've got these pastiche covers and things like Hellboy Seed of Destruction 1. So we've tried to create an interesting, bunch of different perks.
Wow, you've got a Tripwire donator of £50 or more.
Well, I mean, yeah, people want to just throw in just because they're feeling, generous or charitable, then yeah, we've got that. So
you're not going to object to that.
No,
just if
It
people
does
want to
happen though, doesn't it?
Exactly,
I've
yeah.
actually when we did the Dead by Dawn campaign, we had a few people who just threw in.
Well, we had someone who did that for the last Tripwire, gave us money. I mean, I did give him a copy of one of the books and the mag because I felt a bit guilty because he put quite a bit on, but he did it just because he wanted to help us, which is incredibly kind of him.
I'm always surprised by that. I think it's really generous, and it just
it is extremely.
But it's really nice when it happens.
So we built it in, and we've had one person I think so far. But if people want to support, it's then it's there just as a. I mean, obviously we'd like to give people stuff, in return. But if they wanted just to chuck something on, just to make themselves, just feel like they're assisting us.
Yeah, because the thing is, you don't want a Kickstarter to feel like it's a charity, do you?
No, definitely not.
You want it to feel like you are. It's transactional.
You're offering
value.
People give us money, and we give them something back. It's very important. We want to give people, something in return for their kindness, basically.
I'm fascinated. What's a noir Muppet sketch?
Well, you can talk to Andy about that. It's basically a Dark Muppet.
Is it in here?
Andy's. Yes, there are. If you scroll down.
Oh, I've got to see this.
I put a few examples of his Dark Muppets.
Those pastiches. Those pastiche covers are great.
They're not bad, are they? And that was the Holmes page. If you went back just very quickly, that was the Holmes page, which is going to be it's a print. If you pledge at not a huge level, you get a really lovely print of that. Nice. I mean, it's really nice with the lettering, but it looks really nice just as a piece of art.
Lovely.
So we thought we'd offer that as one of the prints at one of those. And these are the Dark Muppets. That Andy has made his,
I have seen these actually before.
Yeah, they've been on his page. So we're offering them. We're just offering like 3. It was like one-off commissions. Basically, we thought it might be fun. If people fancy. What's that? Sorry.
What Muppets are those?
You have to ask Andy about that.
Yeah.
That's the characters. There was a Christmas television.
Was it the Jug Band?
The Jug Band. The Christmas television special.
Yeah. So they're a lot of fun, and they are really cool. Actually, I really like them. So I just think something a bit different.
What was the inspiration? I mean, obviously the Muppets are the inspiration, Andy. But what possessed you to do Muppets Noir? What made you do? Where did it come from? This idea? Well, I mean, everything I do turns out to be kind of noir, so that was it was going to be that way no matter what.
I mean, the Muppets, Miss Piggy stalking Kermit was always a bit, dodgy.
Bit dark.
The door, shining style. Going, Miss Piggy, it's Piggy. And then chopping up Fuzzy Bear.
What? I missed that one.
No, I can just see it. It's dark. It's always a bit
dark Muppets. Dark Muppets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beaker. There's something, there's something very.
Oh yeah, that was very dark actually. The Beaker was like, because he got blown up every episode.
And he also used to get acid poured on his head as well. He used to pour acid on his head, and it used to be like a subject of torture.
Yeah,
every single
never be
something
allowed
really
now.
Unpleasant would happen to him every week.
Oh, they would not allow that now, I don't think, would they? On a kids
not.
show, it's like no,
not.
we're not going to do acid on people's heads. No. I miss it so much. I love them.
So they're the Muppet Noir, and they're a steal. We've got 3 up there just for 300 quid, just to make sure that Andy gets suitably compensated for his work.
Oh yeah.
But I think they're really cool. So maybe someone will hopefully go for that.
Yeah, they're lovely. I have a lot of fun doing those too, and as I'm working through this is what I did throughout the month of October this year, and I did a new one every day for the entire month, and afterwards I get contacted by a lot of people who wanted to buy an original but didn't get to and want to commission one of their own. So I've done a lot of those this past month. From that demand that kind of
you didn't get Disney contacting you, did they, saying
no,
Mr. Bennett, we'd like you to cease and desist.
Cease and desist. Yeah. So far so good.
Well, that's good. But they're cool. They're fun sketches, and we put them in there. We've just offered like 3 spots. So if people want to have if people fancy one of them, then that's up there.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, anyone out there watching who fancies
Who's a Muppets
fancies
fan
that?
who likes Andy's
Yeah.
work, it's a unique opportunity.
Get
It
on
really is.
the Tripwire Winter Special 2021.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And it's
So that's great.
definitely
I mean,
pledged, so it won't be a
it-
wasted pledge.
it looks like you're going to hit that stretch goal, Joel.
I hope
that's-
so. I hope so. I really hope we do, because I would like to. I want to give people this, because behind the scenes stuff is really interesting. It's stuff I've always been interested in. Like I've also got, there's a Graffiti Watchman edition, which has got the Alan Moore's. I mean, my script is nowhere near as long as Mr. Moore's, obviously, but hopefully it gives people like a small glimpse into how we put these stories together, and kind of gives people a little bit of a look behind the curtain, which I know people are always interested in. That was, and that was, So we've got the Kent Menace. So we've got these pastiche posters, which I think are really nice. My friend John Bishop, created the logos for, and I just think they're really cool, and they're really nice when you print them up at A3. Imagine that on the wall. I mean, we tried to pick some really interesting. We tried to pick like a diverse mix of covers that we used. I think they're really nice. Like last time we did Crisis issue 7, and we did Green Lantern. I think it was 85. My Ward is a Junkie cover. The Speedy cover, and we also did Hulk 181 as well. And there's such fun. There's so much fun to be had. Monkey around with these things. They're great.
Oh, that's the thing as well. If you want to get news, you can go on the internet about comics.
Yes.
But if you want like a deep dive and information that you don't learn, you don't know. Like a magazine like this is what you want.
And it's a lot of reading.
We missed this type of thing.
So we've done 2 in 12 months. The last one was supposed to come out, like last March, but it COVID delayed it. But so we've now done 2 huge print issues in 12 months, which is, I'm very proud of that. And there'll be more. I mean, next year's magazine is going to probably be the program for the Bristol show. So there's going to be features focusing on the guests at the show. And then there's the 30th anniversary book, which is going to be a big, hefty 200-page paperback and a hardcover as well. So that would include a lot of new content. So it's a big year next year.
Cool. And so, I mean, you've got some great guests at the show. You got Chaikin coming over, I believe.
Indeed, Brian Stelfreeze, Elena Casagrande from Spain, Jorge, I'm sure I mispronounce his name every time I say this, Jorge Fornes, who does Rorschach. We've obviously got Jock, Sean Phillips.
I love that Rorschach series.
Yes,
so
he's a fantastic artist. He's very talented. So we got Martin Simmons. So that's Department of Truth. Who else have we got? We've got a lot of great talent, a lot of really talented people.
And Bristol's a great place for conventions.
I was saying that earlier.
In the classic Ramada Plaza hotel as well.
It's back at the hotel. So it's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great to have it back.
All the conventions I've gone to, apart from yours, Shane, obviously, the Bristol ones are the best because at the evening, everyone goes to the same place.
So we hope we can recapture that spirit of Bristol that they used to have for all those years.
I just hope they don't run out of beer, because what happened? I mean,
they did that a few times.
What happens, Andy? What happens? You see, we all go to the same bar.
Yes,
but they never have enough beer.
No,
so they always run out.
Yes, that is true.
It was a tradition at Bristol.
That Ramada Plaza is expensive, but
a little bit, but
it didn't stop them running out of beer, though.
No. We're bringing the awards back as well. So there'll be the awards dinner on the Saturday night. Right. So we're getting someone to host that. So there'll be like a sit down, and that should be fun. We've done it the last 3 years. First year we did it at Portsmouth. Year 2 we did it online. Year 3 we did it at the Cartoon Museum. So we thought for year 4 we would incorporate it into our new show.
Sounds great.
That should be fun. So I think 2022, touch wood, I think it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I think so.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's fingers crossed. It doesn't get ruined by COVID.
Let's hope so.
We're all in the same boat, aren't we? That's the thing. We're all thinking the same thing.
But hopefully by September things a bit better.
I would think so. I'm hoping so too. So we've hit our hour really quickly.
Okay. Wow.
It just snuck up on us there.
Yes.
So I'd just like to take the opportunity to say thank you, Joel, and thank you, Andy.
Shane, it's always a pleasure. Yeah. Thank you for having both of us on here.
Yes, for sure.
It's been really nice to talk to you. And I'm guessing that we'll probably end up chatting about the same time next year.
Very probably. Yes, probably.
But maybe we'll chat, nearer the time of the show as well. And have a
With
chat
pleasure.
then.
Always happy to come on. We can come on and come on in the summer. We can talk about, because there are some guests we haven't announced yet, who we will be announcing in sort of January, February. So there are some American guests yet to be announced, and a couple of other British guests too. So, happy to come on and talk about that, of course.
Excellent. Okay then,
Brilliant.
guys. Well,
Thank
have
you,
yourselves a
guys.
great
Brilliant.
evening.
Thank you.
All the best to you.
It's our pleasure. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks so much.
Bye, Andy.
Yeah,
Bye,
thanks.
Joel.
Thanks. Take care. Thanks very much. Cheers.